The truth is simple but brutal. Trading isn't about winning. It's about managing losing. Most traders never want to hear that because it shatters the fantasy that brought them into trading in the first place, the idea of being able to beat the market. But the truth is, trading isn't a competition between you and the market. It's a test of how well you can control yourself when things don't go your way. Most traders treat the market like an argument they're desperate to win. They don't look for opportunities, they look for confirmation. They enter trades to prove that their analysis is right and exit them to prove that they were smart to get in or out. Their entire approach revolves around ego, not probability, and ego has no place in a probabilistic game. You'll hear traders say things like, "I was right, but my timing was off." But that's just another way of refusing to accept being wrong. The market doesn't care about timing or analysis. It rewards those who can adapt, those who can shift direction without hesitation, those who can detach from their expectations and respond to what's actually happening, not what they wish was happening. The moment you trade to feel right, you stop trading to be profitable. That's the quiet truth that separates the 5% who make it from the 95% who don't. Hope is a beautiful human trait, but in trading, it's deadly. Hope is what keeps traders stuck in losing positions far longer than they should be. When traders lose, they don't close because they're disciplined. They hold because they hope. They hope the candle reverses, hope their analysis is still valid, and hope the market comes back. And sometimes, it does. And that's the worst possible thing that can happen. Because that one time it works, it reinforces the illusion that hope is a strategy. The next time they're in a losing trade, they'll hold longer. They'll add more to their losing position. They'll start rationalizing. It's just a pullback. It's consolidating before moving in my direction. I'll close once it breaks even. But what they're really doing is surrendering control. They're no longer traders. They're hostages to their own denial. Every pip or tick against them is another cut, and by the time they finally close, it's not out of logic, it's out of emotional exhaustion. That's why most traders never last. It's not that they don't know when to exit. It's that they can't emotionally handle being wrong. They don't lose to the market. They lose to the hope that refuses to let them move on. The reason trading feels addictive isn't just the money, it's the chemistry. Every time you win a trade, your brain releases dopamine, that little rush of excitement that tells you, "I was right." You feel smart, validated, powerful. You start to associate correctness with self-worth. And that's where the danger begins. Because when you lose, it's not just about the money anymore, it's about identity. A loss feels like failure. It's not just a losing trade, it's a hit to your confidence. You feel like you're less capable, less intelligent. And so, the mind does what addicts do. It seeks another hit. You revenge trade, over-leverage, and chase setups you wouldn't normally take, not because they make sense, but because you're desperate to feel right again. It's not about the market at that point. It's about self-soothing. You're not trading for profit, you're trading for emotional balance. That's why even experienced traders make rookie mistakes, because they're not fighting the market, they're fighting their own biology. Until you detach from the emotional rush of being right, you'll forever trade in a cycle of hope, loss, and regret. So, what about the knowledge of the market you've collected? Knowledge can be dangerous when it turns into arrogance. Many traders start out humble, but as they learn more, they start to feel invincible. They master technicals, Fibonacci retracements, market structure, institutional order blocks, candlestick patterns, supply and demand zones, and they start believing they can predict the market. But the market doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards adaptability. You can have every tool and strategy in the world, but if your ego won't let you admit when you're wrong, that knowledge becomes a weapon against you. This is called the smart trader trap. The smart trader trap is one of the most dangerous phases in a trader's journey. It's when they start thinking, I've studied so much, I can't possibly be wrong. So when the market goes against them, instead of cutting losses, they double down. They start saying things like, it'll come back. They move their stop loss just a bit further. They remove risk management entirely because they want to prove the market wrong. That's how traders with the most knowledge still end up broke, because they mistake education for immunity. They think being smart means they're safe, but intelligence without humility is destruction waiting to happen. Time doesn't automatically make you better in trading. Experience only matters if you evolve with it. There are traders who've been doing this for 10 years and are still making the same emotional mistakes they made in their first year. They've read every book, taken every course, and yet they're still stuck in the same cycle of fear, greed, and overconfidence. That's because they never learned the most important skill, emotional growth. They know the charts better than they know themselves. They can tell you where liquidity lies, but not why they can't close a losing trade. They still take losses personally. Every wrong trade still feels like an insult. When your self-worth depends on being right, you will sabotage yourself. Because no one can be right all the time, not even the best. The traders who make it aren't perfect. They just survive their mistakes better than you do. They've learned to lose gracefully, without emotional breakdowns. That's why they last, not because they know more, but because they've learned how to handle being wrong without losing control. So why do people still fail after years of study? It's not because the market is rigged or the brokers are hunting their stops. It's because they never learned how to live with uncertainty. They crave certainty in a place that doesn't offer it. They want to be right in a system that punishes rigidity. You can memorize every pattern, backtest every setup, and master every technical indicator. But if you can't emotionally handle being wrong, you'll never see consistency. The market is probabilistic, meaning even your best setups will fail sometimes. You can do everything perfectly and still lose. That's the reality most traders can't accept, and because they can't accept it, they keep changing strategies, chasing new systems, and running from the one thing they need to face, themselves. The real skill in trading isn't prediction, it's how well you manage your reactions when prediction fails. As you may already know, trading is one of the loneliest jobs in the world. You sit in silence, watching charts move without emotion while your heart races with every tick. You study for hours, sacrifice sleep, and pour your energy into something that never guarantees a return. You can work hard for months and still lose money in a day. No one talks about the emotional toll, the anxiety, the self-doubt, the isolation. You start questioning your intelligence. You start wondering if you'll ever get it. You replay trades in your head at night, thinking about what you should have done differently. Trading doesn't just test your financial skills, it tests your mental stability. The deeper you go, the more you realize trading isn't about charts, it's about psychology. It's about learning to stay calm in chaos, to accept losses without emotional collapse, and to detach from outcomes completely. Because trading isn't about how strong you are, it's about how controlled you can be when everything inside you wants to react. Winning traders don't win because they're always right. They win because they've mastered losing. They lose often, but they lose small. They cut losses fast, detach emotionally, and understand that losses are part of the trading game. That's the biggest difference between the average trader and the professional. The beginner values outcomes. The professional values process. Because the process is what creates consistency, not the results of one trade. The harsh truth that no one wants to accept is that the market doesn't care about your effort and doesn't owe you anything. You can study for years, trade every day, and still lose, because this isn't a system that rewards hard work. It rewards understanding, patience, and self-control. The market doesn't owe you profits because you deserve it. It owes you nothing. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop feeling victimized by losses. Effort doesn't equal success here. execution does. You get paid for managing risk, not predicting direction. The market isn't fair or unfair. It's just indifferent. And once you stop expecting it to reward you for trying, you can start approaching it like a business. Cold, calculated, emotionless. When you trade with hope, you're not following your plan. You're following emotion. You're trading to feel better, and that's why your results fluctuate. Some days, you're disciplined. Other days, you're emotional. Consistency doesn't come from being right. It comes from acting the same way under any condition. Following your rules when you're winning and when you're losing. That's how professionals trade. They let go of hope and replace it with structure. Because hope might make you feel better, but structure keeps you alive. To become consistently profitable, you have to kill your need to be right. That part of you that wants validation, that wants to feel smart, that wants to prove something, it has to die. Because as long as your ego is in control, your trading decisions will always be emotional. This isn't a one-time mindset shift. It's a daily battle. Every trade is an opportunity to attach your identity or detach from it. Every win tempts you to feel invincible. Every loss tempts you to spiral. The discipline lies in staying neutral, no matter the outcome. The true trader mindset is simple. I don't care if I'm right. I care if I followed my plan because that's the only thing you can control. Not the market, not the next candle, just your process. And another important take is that trading isn't for everyone. It's not just charts and setups. It's an emotional marathon. It exposes who you are at your core, shows your fears, your greed, your impulsiveness, and your lack of discipline. It forces you to confront yourself every single day. You'll lose money, confidence, sleep. Sometimes you'll lose faith, and even people who don't understand what you're doing. But the traders who make it, they're not the ones who are the smartest. They're the ones who are the most emotionally grounded. They stop trading for validation and needing to be right. You can't fake it in trading. The charts don't care about your story. They only reflect your behavior. And until you master yourself, you'll never master the market. Trading doesn't care who you are or how long you've been doing it. It only rewards those who've learned how to survive. And survival starts the moment you stop needing to be right. That's the unfiltered truth, the harsh, raw reality of making it in trading.